the three together, we attract who we are, not what we want. Again, this is probably towards the end, because I have only about 5 minutes left with me, maybe 3 minutes. The Leadership Challenge, another book for you to grab. And here, he mentions the 5 practices model. And this model is designed to create engagement within the organization. And he talks about 5 components of this model. The first component, or the first, is model the way for the leader himself to practice the values he is marketing, to actually be the example, leading by example. All the values, all the thoughts, all the wisdom, all the principles would be seen within the leader. Clarify values and set the example. Inspire a shared vision, like we mentioned in the first example of shopping. And then challenge the process. Critically look at what you are doing. Search for opportunities, experiment, and take risks. Enable others to act. Foster collaboration, strengthen others. Like I mentioned, look for strengths within your employees and push them forward. Encourage the heart, recognize contributions, celebrate the value and victories. This is, again, you can look at them on this website, Temkin Group. They have what they call the 5I model. You need to inform your people, inspire them by reasserting values, instruct, that is training, involve through feedback that is acted upon. Feedback is always good. But if the employee gives feedback and the company, the leader, the management ignores it, that will obstruct further feedback. So feedback is taken seriously by the management and is put into the system. Incent, that is motivate, through reward systems and aligning people's behavior with organizational priorities. That is not to tell you that it is dinner time, by the way. I still have about 20 slides to go, more than this. My wife once told me that she needs to go and speak to her neighbor. And she said, "Excuse me, Sayed, I need to speak to my neighbor for a couple of minutes. But you, every half an hour, please stir the curry so that it doesn't stick in the thing." It's a couple of minutes meeting with her neighbor. And I have to stir the curry every half an hour. You can imagine how long she's going to stay there. And then the curry got rotten, burned, and we didn't have lunch. Thank you very much. I posted a LinkedIn post about a couple of months ago. And in the LinkedIn post, I put a little paragraph at the beginning. And that paragraph said, I whispered into his ears, "We have a strategy review workshop. Would you kindly visit us and let's have a discussion? Join us, please." "Can't you see I'm so busy? Look at the paperwork on my table." I said, "Do you know the reason why you have such a big pile of paperwork on your table? It's because you do not have a strategy. Vision is the most instrumental tool for any organization to accumulate all its resources, efforts, thinking, feelings even, towards a specific goal for it to go through. Never has there been an organization that has achieved success without putting a strong vision for itself. And not only that, it's nice to have a vision. A vision alone is not enough. They always say in human development and training and psychology, have a vision, let it sink into your heart, feelings, and convert it into action, a behavior. Success is never by thoughts. Yes, it starts with thoughts, but it's always with a behavior. Thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Remember that head, heart, and hand. If you go away with this model alone, I think this will be a successful evening if you apply that in your life. Personal life, as well as your work environment. A couple of days ago, someone called me because I do like live broadcast every Thursday, in Arabic unfortunately. And I was talking about balance in life balance, work-life balance, and so on. And they asked me one question: how can I fill a gap which I discovered in my life? That gap was low level of reading, low level of knowledge. The question I asked was, when was the last time you read a book? 3 years ago. Discussion created an idea in their head that yes, it's good to read. They got convinced. The next question is, when are you going to start reading? The end of the month, I'm going to buy a couple of books and start reading. I said, you're not going to do it. If you get convinced with something, you have to start it immediately, there and then. Otherwise, this is not a vision. Vision is something that is translated into action. We can always have a vision stuck on the wall. Actually, in my own organization, Muhammad can confirm this, we have it at the entrance of my office. So 100 people see it every morning. The same question I asked to the Pakistan engineer last year in Bahrain. I asked exactly the same question, gave them papers. In my office, my own employees, I said, please write me the vision. Nobody knew it. Everybody was writing something else. So knowledge and having a clarity in your head is essential. But more important than that is for it to sink into your heart and then convert it into action. There is one verse in the Quran. I'll just recite the part that relates to the last. قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم. The Arabs, Al-Arab is not the Arabs, but okay, listen, the Arabs say that we are believers. The Quran says, no, do not say you are believers. You're just Muslims. Until that belief sinks into your heart, then you will be believers. Because once it sinks in there, it naturally becomes a behavior, an action. That is a vision. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sayyid Badr-Alvi, for this brilliant speech. He covered in his speech the two aspects of your professional life. The one is the life that you spend in your office, and one is your domestic life. So best wishes for the application or the success of your leadership rules that we learned today in your domestic life. Now I would like to open the session for question and answers. I repeat, due to time limitation, we shall stick to the questions that are beneficial to all audience. Mr. Ibrahim Shami is here to help me with the selection of questions. This question is from Engineer Muhammad Karim, that which type of leadership is most successful? Authoritative, collaborative, or enabling?
That's a good question. I thought somebody would ask this. Actually, it depends on the situation. Generally, leadership is classified in two extremes. One extreme is called results-oriented. This mentality, this mindset focuses on results and not on people. And on the other extreme, there is what they call people-oriented. This focuses on the welfare and relationship of people, the work environment, and not necessarily ignore the results. What you need is a couple. a mix of two. Any organization, wherever the employee doesn't feel emotionally attached, if he is emotionally disconnected, he cannot be creative. Even if you have like an authoritative, a dictator type of leader, he can force people to act. He can force people to behave the way he wants, but they cannot be creative. They just give him what he wants. It is situational. In some instances where we have an emergency, you need to command. You do not need to participate and discuss and take opinions. You just say, go ahead and do it. Like in cases, la samahullah, if you have a fire or any kind of emergency where you just need to take resources and achieve the mission. This type of leadership is fine. But under general conditions, the best type of leadership is one that is caring. Never mind about leadership style. Take the qualities. Because leadership names have been changing over time. But what has remained is the qualities of a leader, regardless of what you call him. So, a leader who creates a shared vision. A leader who focuses on the welfare of his people, cares for them. A leader who appreciates and recognizes achievements. A leader who enables his own employees to be creative and to bring out the potentials within. This is the kind of leadership that can create success within any organization. Now, for certain circumstances, you need to adapt a different style. But under general, this is the best qualities of a leader you can have.
Next question is from Mr. Masoom Said. He's asking that his leadership works without position in a project?
Of course. Of course. Actually, there are people who possess charisma, who possess wisdom. So sometimes we call them, I can't remember the name in English, marji'iyya. They are like a reference, an authority in something. He is naturally a leader. People go revert to him and seek his guidance in situations where he is an expert. So being an expert in a subject area gives you that ability to lead and influence. Remember, leadership is all about influence and making change. So with those qualities, you can influence the people without being a leader in a formal position, so to speak. Not every formal position is necessarily, the one in there is necessarily a leader. He has to develop certain qualities in order to be a true leader. He's a director, but not necessarily a leader. So yes, you can, without a position, with your ability to influence a decision. Some time ago I was discussing with my colleagues how to reverse your own boss's decision. This is being a leader. When you are able to reverse the boss's decision, you are taking the lead. So yes, you can.
Engineer Muhammad Abrar Shami want to know that in a non-conducive environment, how a student can be motivated?
How a student?
Student.
It's not difficult. Remember that motivation is of two sources. You have external motivation and you have internal motivation. Sometimes you sit, I myself experienced this some time ago in my career. You sit within a very negative environment where everything around you tells you that you are meaningless, that you are valueless, nothing supports you. I call this the hudhud of Sulaiman. Sulaiman alayhi salam, Prophet Sulaiman had this bird which went all the way to Yemen and came back with the news of the Queen of Saba. I call that person like that bird who makes his own way to find value for himself, to motivate himself from within. So for an unconducive environment, it all depends on the person himself. He relies mostly on his internal motivation, his own positive mindset. do not expect anything in this life from a positivity perspective. Anything in your life, do not expect anybody to do it for you. Yes, a leader can influence, but it all depends on the person himself if he wants to be influenced. So it's a self-motivating choice that is there in this kind of situation.
Mr. Muhammad Khan wants to know that how to handle actively disengaged who don't get engaged despite best efforts.
Sack them. Honestly, sack them. These are the most dangerous group. See, some organizations, unfortunately, have some disciplinary measures, but they don't apply them. Sometimes you have to take these mercilessly. You do not, the emotions within such situations are put aside because the integrity of the whole organization is in danger. So you have to take decisive action against such people. As I said, the leadership style itself can create this kind of group. If the leader ignores them, this means that there is no communication at all. There is no connection. So the leader exercises his role in order to influence these people. If they don't get influenced, disciplinary action is taken against them in order that their negativity does not spread to the rest of the organization. It can kill the whole organization, honestly. It's very dangerous.
Sack the leader who created this.
Sack the leader, he said. Fine.
But before sacking a person, the next question is that how much time you need to transform a person from the managerial level to a leader?
Human behavior is never measured by time. Human behavior is something tangible. You cannot calculate it in mathematics and calculators. The environment, the atmosphere, the relationships, the kind of tasks that he is given, the challenges that he faces, the experiences, the interface with external organizations and other experts, all of these contribute to the bringing up of a person. Together with the role of the leader who gives him this opportunity and gives him the trust. He truly trusts his people and says, yes, you can do it. That's why I always say that a leader is always a coach. The coach is the person who can show his employees the great potentials within them and gives them opportunity, gives them the trust. So there isn't, you cannot say, oh, after a month he's going to be a leader. After a year, no. People, I have seen people who have grown so quickly because they possess the qualities to be influenced and they took the opportunities that were made for them. Others, it's like someone said, how long have you been working? Oh, I've been like at this receptionist desk for the past 20 years. So I have an experience of 20 years. No, you don't have an experience of 20 years. It could be an experience of 1 year, repeated 20 times. But if that receptionist makes every encounter with every visitor a new experience, he can multiply that year into a number of years of experiences. So there isn't a time. It's something intangible. It takes its time, but it requires the different influencers and contributors and factors that make him a leader.
With this, we conclude our question and answer session. I am again thankful to Mr. Syed that he is honoring us and accepted our invitation to come to Saudi Arabia. And I am hopeful because in 1 hour you cannot cover this huge topic of leadership. So we will invite him again in coming days, inshallah, again.
Coming days? Thank you, sir. It has been wonderful talking to you. I know they made my task a bit difficult. Maybe I have not been to the expectation of all of you, but certainly the questions were challenging and made me think of some points. I was hoping people with white beards would actually ask more difficult questions because I was looking at some of them here and there and everywhere. Not you, Muhammad, you are still young, I know that. It's my honor to come to you, either here or in Bahrain. I think collaboration is the best way forward. you've been contributing to the development of this region in the Arab world. And as a person, I have worked with so many people from Pakistan in Bahrain, either in my own directorate or with other stakeholders. And I have always felt comfortable working with people like you. Thank you very much indeed for this opportunity, and I hope I have given something of some value.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, hope it was an informative topic and you all learned something and enjoyed the presentation. We have arranged participation certificates as well that can be collected on demand. Please leave your name with the reception desk and certificates will be delivered to you. Now I would like to call a person who delegates diligently, supports where necessary, coach who needs it, and when required, even dictators. A man whose vision, hard work, and dedication is the driving force to activate and inspire all council members. A true leader who is leading us successfully in organizing this beautiful evening. Please put your hands together to welcome Engineer Rizwan Ahmed, Chairman, Institution of Engineers, Eastern Province. Please join me on stage to introduce and invite Honorable Chief Guest.